Everyone's first AWS service is EC2, and most tutorials leave you with a server you don't really understand, and sometimes a surprise bill. Let's fix both. The problem: you need a computer to run your app around the clock, but buying and maintaining a physical server is slow and expensive. EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, solves it. You rent a computer in the cloud by the second and pay only while it runs. In this deep dive, we'll launch a real one, set it up the professional way, connect to it, serve a live web page, and crucially tear it down so it costs nothing. We click Launch Instance, and the first real choice is the AMI, the Amazon Machine Image. The problem it solves: you don't want to install an operating system from scratch. An AMI is a ready-made image, Amazon Linux, Ubuntu, Windows, with the OS already baked in. For learning, pick one marked free tier eligible. Real example: we'll use Amazon Linux to host a website. You also give the instance a clear name. We'll call ours Viant Cloud Web Server, because in a real account, unnamed servers become a mystery fast. Next, the instance type, where beginners just pick T2.micro and move on. The problem: too small is slow, too big wastes money. The type sets your CPU and memory, and the families matter: T for general bursty workloads like a small website, C for compute heavy, R for memory heavy work like databases. T2.micro is free tier and perfect for learning, but for a real app you right-size to the job. We'll stay on the free tier T2.micro. Now the key pair, how you prove it's really you when you connect. The problem: passwords get guessed, so AWS uses key pairs instead. You get a private key file, you keep it safe, and only that key can log in. You download it exactly once, so store it somewhere secure and never put it in your code. For our demo, we'll use a keyless browser method, but in production, this key pair is your identity to the server. This is the most important and most often botched step: the security group. It's the firewall around your instance. The dangerous habit every tutorial teaches is opening SSH to 0.0.0.0.0, the entire internet, so anyone, anywhere can hammer your server. Do it the professional way instead: SSH restricted to your own IP address only, and ports 80 and 443 open for web traffic. Look at our group. SSH is locked to a single IP, the web is public. That one habit prevents a huge share of real-world break-ins. Storage: your instance's hard drive, which AWS calls EBS. The problem nobody explains: does your data survive? By default, the root volume has delete on termination switched on, so when you terminate the instance, the disk and everything on it is gone. Free tier gives you 30 gigabytes. The real lesson: anything you must keep, back up with a snapshot or store off the instance, because the disk's life is tied to the servers. Here's a professional touch most beginners miss: user data. The problem: logging in to install software by hand every time is slow and unrepeatable. User data is a script that runs automatically the first time the instance boots. Real example: we paste a short script that installs a web server and drops in a home page, so the moment the instance starts, our website is already live, with nobody touching it. That's the first real step toward automation. We launch, and in about a minute the instance is running, with 2 out of 2 status checks passed, meaning AWS and the operating system are both healthy. Now it has a public IP address, its address on the internet. This is a real computer, live, that we created in about 60 seconds, with the network, the firewall, and the startup script all already running. Connecting, the part the old tutorials make painful with PuTTY, and key conversions. The modern, professional way is right here in the Connect tab. EC2 Instance Connect opens a terminal straight in your browser, no key file needed. There's also Session Manager, which lets you connect with no open SSH port at all, the most secure option. Pick the browser option and you're inside the server in one click. And here's the payoff. Remember that startup script? We open the instance's public IP in a browser, and there it is, a live web page, served from our own EC2 server, served live from an Amazon EC2 instance. That's the whole point of EC2 made real. In a few minutes, we went from nothing to a working website on the internet. Now let's see how a real organization structures this. Because a lone instance isn't the full picture. We built it inside a VPC, a virtual private cloud, your own private network. The professional pattern, shown here, a public subnet for things that face the internet, like our web server, and a private subnet for things that must stay hidden, like a database. An internet gateway and a route table connect the public side to the world, while the private side stays locked away. That separation is how production environments keep data safe. Up to now, we've used the console, the web interface. But professionals also work from the terminal, and that needs credentials. The problem: how does the command line prove who you are? You create an IAM user, generate an access key, and configure a named profile, here Viant Cloud. Then any command with that profile runs as that user. One absolute rule: the secret key is shown only once, you keep it hidden, never on screen, never in code. With the profile set, a single command confirms exactly which account and user you are. A subtle trap that catches beginners: that public IP is temporary. The problem: stop and start your instance and the IP changes, instantly breaking your bookmarks, your SSH, your DNS. The fix is an elastic IP, a fixed address you own and attach to the instance, so it never changes. One caution the console itself warns about: an elastic IP that's allocated but not attached to anything actually costs you money. So attach it or release it. Now, the single most important thing for avoiding surprise bills: stop versus terminate. Stop pauses the instance, compute billing stops, but the EBS disk keeps billing, your data is kept, and the public IP changes when you start again. Terminate is permanent. The instance and its root volume are destroyed, your data is gone, and all billing stops. Reboot just restarts it, keeping everything. Confuse stop and terminate, and you either lose your work or keep paying for a server you thought was gone. Free tier won't last forever, so understand the 4 ways to pay. On demand, pay per second, no commitment, great for spiky or unpredictable use. Reserved instances or savings plans, commit for 1 to 3 years and save up to about 70%. For steady, always-on workloads. Spot, up to about 90% cheaper, but AWS can reclaim it with little notice. Perfect for flexible batch jobs. And remember, free tier gives you 750 hours of T2.micro. A month for your first year gives you 750 hours of T2.micro a month for your first year. Which brings us to staying safe on cost. The problem the tutorials ignore: it's easy to leave things running and get a bill. 2 professional habits. First, on day 1, set a budget. This budget screen lets AWS email you the moment your spend crosses, say $5. Second, when you're done, clean up, which is exactly what we'll do next. So let's tear it all down. The professional discipline most videos skip. We terminate the instance, then delete the security group, the internet gateway, the subnets, the root table, and the VPC, and confirm nothing is left running. Total cost of this whole demo, essentially 0. That's EC2 done right: launch a real server, configure the network and firewall properly, automate its setup, connect securely, and always clean up. Each piece we touched, VPC, EBS, IAM, pricing, has its own deep dive coming, so subscribe to VON Cloud and we'll keep making AWS simple, with real examples.